It's raining, somewhat pouring. The old man is snoring. He went to bed and bumped his head, and it's hard to get up in the morning. And the rain is pitter-patting out there. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith on this rainy Thursday morning, which is November 6th, 2014. Pack up your rain gear on your way out this morning. You're going to need it. Light to moderate rain over the entire forecast region this morning. Temperatures are ranging anywhere from the mid to the upper 40s to around 50 or so right in the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area. It's a pretty raw morning, and all the winds are generally calm or out of the east under 10 miles per hour, and we have a considerable amount of fog across the region this morning, reducing visibilities down to 2 miles in some locations. Morning surface chart from weatheroanoke.com and digital atmosphere software shows our area of low pressure here over the Great Lakes region and a warm frontal boundary just to our south. The precipitation's running over the top of the front, and as a result of that, lots of light to moderate rain across the region this morning with a light easterly component off the ocean. And basically these two systems are going to form into another disturbance here, which will form off and over the top of us during this afternoon and tonight. There could be a lull in the precipitation during a period this afternoon before the precipitation begins to ramp up once again, especially around the coast and out on central and eastern Long Island this evening before the whole thing exits tomorrow morning. Water vapor channel shows a couple of interesting things this morning. Our low pressure area over the Great Lakes with Fort Max's running underneath it. And here is strong lifting, or moderate lifting anyway, going on across the eastern United States, especially the New England area right down through the northern mid-Atlantic this morning. And as a result of that, we're finding light to moderate rain across the region. And there's a connection with all of this in the water vapor channel all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. We still have our upper level low spinning off and cut off here across portions of Mexico, and this will be kicked out over the next couple of days into an open wave. But meanwhile, this entrainment of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico in our subtropical jet stream will help to influence a pretty wet day across the region today, with a little bit of a break in the action tonight as the axis of this moves off the coast. Rain will reappear across areas where it's not raining later this afternoon, especially right along the immediate coast down through the Delmarva region and then into southern New England, including Long Island and interior Connecticut. And if you're out on the coastal waters today and tonight and tomorrow, there are watches and warnings and advisories that you need to be aware of. First of all, small craft advisories will begin on the ocean waters at noon today and continue through the balance of today and tonight. The warm front will move through the region this morning around the coastal waters, and gusty southwesterly winds will develop in its wake. Low pressure to our west, as we just explained, expected to pass through the region this evening, with the winds becoming westerly for tonight. The gusty southwesterly winds expected to cause waves to build near 5 feet on the ocean waters during the afternoon, not expected to subside much during tonight. Friday into early Saturday, we're expecting basically small craft advisories extended through the period. And the flow behind the cold front also raised small craft advisories on the Delaware Bay as well. And that's going to last through Friday night, even possibly becoming gales, but still not certain on the duration, so have left off the gale watch at the time. Saturday winds and seas should gradually decrease below small craft advisories as high pressure begins to build into the region. Sunday, a weak cold front will cross the region and seas will increase a bit. It's possible that small craft advisory conditions could be met again for a time, especially early on Sunday. And right now, there's no marine warnings out there for this upcoming Monday. For the aviational weather deck today, we have lots of IFR and MVFR conditions in place this morning with quite a bit of fog and rain, and the rain will continue to spread into the region from the southwest early this morning, and ceilings and visibility values are forecast to continue dropping into the MVFR range, which they are now. And these conditions expected through much of the day, possibly IFR conditions developing for a time across certain regions here this morning. Some of these areas over the last hour have improved to MVFR, but certain areas are still in the IFR category. The rain will transition to showers during the afternoon, with the showers expected to become more scattered and isolated during the evening. Ceilings are forecasted to begin lifting slowly this evening, with most of our terminal area forecast sites returning to VFR category sometime during tonight. The wind expected to remain light and variable. across much of Allentown and Reading for much of the day. Elsewhere, there will be a easterly component to the wind at about 10 knots or less this morning, and the direction is from Trenton, Philadelphia, northern Philadelphia, and Wilmington. On the low confidence side, it depends upon where the warm front settles in and how it works its way through the region. The wind is anticipated to become basically southwest for the afternoon from Millville and Atlantic City south, and the speeds of around 8 to 10 knots. The wind should become westerly from 4 to 8 knots at all of our terminal sites through tonight. Friday through Saturday night, VFR, high pressure in control. Gusty northwest winds at 20 to 30 knots through Friday night, and that's going to produce some wind shear across the region. On Sunday, MVFR possible as a cold front approaches and could bring some showers. And then Sunday night through Monday, VFR, high pressure in control. Right now, outside of Newark, we have 50 degrees, dew point 46, humidity 87%. The wind is east at 3. Visibility is at 6 miles. There's light rain and fog. Ceilings at 700, 4,200 feet, and overcast at 6,500 feet. And during the last hour, they picked up just 0.02 of an inch of rainfall, and more rain is on the way for today. For Philadelphia right now, it's 49, dew point 45, humidity 86%. The wind is east at 9, visibility 8, light rain. Scattered clouds 5,000, overcast at 7,500, 0.03 of an inch of rain in the last 1 hour, and more rain and rain showers on the way for today. High resolution rapid refresh model back up and running again from Penn State's Ewald site shows the rain overspreading the region. This morning, a little bit of a lull in the action early this afternoon, and then as our surface wave develops along the front and we get warm sectored, we could have a pocket of moderate to heavy rain move across the entire forecast region from southwest to northeast during the afternoon hours. Going to be a chilly day today with temperatures remaining in the upper 40s and low and mid 50s for most of the region. The only exception to that would be southern New Jersey into the Delmarva region, which will probably get warm sectored. There's also the threat of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Well, I wouldn't say isolated shower or thunderstorm. I would say there's a chance of a thunderstorm through the period here from in the warm sector here late this afternoon with temperatures approaching 60 or 62 degrees across the region. And this would be for southern New Jersey and the Delmarva only. Everybody else to the north of that probably remaining in the 50s. Active pattern going forward over the weekend into early next week as well. The NAMWRF composite reflectivity forecast from Penn State's Ewald site shows the rain moving in and over the area this morning as it has been. A little break in the action. Warm sector this afternoon could find an isolated thunderstorm or a pocket of moderate to heavy rain moving off the coast during this afternoon with some breaks before the upper level low. Before the surface low deepens over coastal southern New England during tomorrow morning and drags the upper trough axis overhead. So we'll find breaks in the overcast early tomorrow morning and clearing, and then the upper trough moves through during the afternoon hours with more cloud cover and an isolated shower before we really begin to clear things out on Friday night and Saturday. And I want to tell you the temperatures on Friday night into Saturday morning before dawn are going to drop into the 30s, probably near freezing in outlying suburbs, and only rise to the chilly 40s on Friday afternoon. And the clouds are already going to be increasing on the high variety side by Friday night as we find our next frontal system approaching quickly on its heels for Sunday afternoon. As I mentioned yesterday, the GFS parallel model is now being integrated into operation in the middle of December, and as a result of that, it's we've dropped down the resolution from 27 kilometers down to 13 kilometers, and we're going to be using the GFS parallel precipitation rate and sea level pressure forecast from Tropical Tibbets, which is Levi Cohen's site in Alaska, and it shows the low pressure area here over the Great Lakes early. Here's our rain this morning as we move through the low pressure area right through the Connecticut River Valley, and the main convection will be offshore by late this evening and early tomorrow morning. Once the system departs, it will deepen over the coastal waters here of southern New England, produce a strong north to northwesterly flow, much chillier air coming in for Friday afternoon, first in the 50s, and then we drop down with the cold pool aloft coming through during the afternoon, and by Saturday morning, temperatures are going to be near freezing in many interior sections, with the heights beginning to fall and the thickness levels the height is beginning to rise and the thickness is beginning to fall. And as that trough comes through, there could be some light snow shower activity well removed from our area downslope of the Great Lakes on that parallel north to south flow, driving the colder air from over the top from the waters down through Pennsylvania. Basically, high pressure building in across the region. Then for the day on Friday night and Saturday, the pressure gradient begins to relax, but it's a chilly day with, you can see the 540 thicknesses here down all the way through the Delmarva. So temperatures on Saturday probably staying in the 40s in most areas. Chilly high pressure, moderating temperatures again by Sunday. Should be less windy, a much more pleasurable day with lots of sunshine around. Here comes our next cold front on its heels. The cold front will be moving through the region early on Sunday afternoon and driving much colder air once again into the region for the early part of next week. And we find another pressure system here developing across the upper plains in the polar jet stream here, and this will be approaching our region for the early part of next week with another cold frontal passage that will probably get through here probably during the day on Wednesday at this point, as the models are showing this. And we could find along that leading edge much chillier air with thicknesses all the way down to 540 now through Pennsylvania. It's not impossible to see some light snow begin to mix in here from western New York into western Pennsylvania by Wednesday morning of next week. We could even find a little bit of that light snow shower activity to get in here as the front moves through the region and the upper trough axis moves through the region by early Wednesday morning across the interior sections of southeastern New York and northwestern New Jersey. Probably not accumulating anything, but it's just enough to show you how cold the atmosphere is going to get over the beginning and next part of next week. Wanted to take a look at the temperature anomalies in Celsius. The 2-meter temperature is at ground level here, and by Friday afternoon we find the anomalous cold air setting into the eastern United States, and that will only be temporary and will modify just a little bit with each frontal passage. Here's our next area of cold pool coming in mainly to the north of the region in southeastern Canada by early next week, but still the air mass is still going to be below seasonal levels in the 2-meter area department of temperature. And we modify just a little bit by early next week ahead of the next cold Arctic outbreak, and this cold air mass means business as it will infiltrate the entire eastern United States with the coldest pool through the central plains down through Texas. 500 millibar height anomalies from the European, the GFS, and the CMC model all showing the same kinds of things. We have a developing negative EPO, also a positive PNA with our ridge axis here through southwestern Canada and through western North America, and that coincides with a trough here in the central plains and eastern United States, and it's showing up on all the model guidance predominantly. So we still have a positive NAO, North Atlantic Ice Oscillation, so weather system is going to be predominantly active through this period, but we don't see a lot of blocking just yet, and the negative NAO is not forecasted to develop into the mid to the later part of the month. So if you're looking for an active and progressive pattern through the period, that's one you're going to get, because that's the way that the weather's going to happen over the next couple of weeks as we step down the ladder into the late fall and even winter in some areas over the next couple of weeks. Everything live on Garden State Weather and gardenstateweather.blogspot.com, Twitter, and Facebook. We'll be back with further details on your weekend forecast and your Veterans Day forecast as well for next Tuesday, coming up tomorrow morning. For Garden State Weather and gardenstateweather.blogspot.com, I'm forecaster Robert Smith. Have an enjoyable Thursday, but don't forget, you're going to need some extra time out there this morning, and do pack some rain gear.